This conference will now be recorded.
Now, in yesterday's class, we have seen about your constructor and we have seen how can you pass your method parameters and everything. And we have seen the example for your local class as well as your global class, how to create your parameters. And then we have seen about your constructor and what are the different types of constructor, what can be the interview questions that you ask on your constructor. Now, and we have started with our interface. So what is meant by an interface? It's a special type of a class where we have the methods without implementation. Without implementation. If I want to say in the layman terms, that we will be calling it as a dummy class. A class which we will be having only the definition. Or I can say a class which will have only the definition. So this we will be calling it as your interface. We need to what we need to create in the interface. If I want the same method name should be same across all my classes. If the name of the method should be same across all the classes, but inside that method, if I want my own implementation, inside my method, I want my own implementation, then we are going to create an interface. So now if the transaction code for creating of your interface is SE24, whenever we create an interface, whenever SAP is creating an interface, SAP will start with IF underscore, but whenever we created an interface, we have to start it with ZIF underscore. So let me log on to SAP system. Now I'm going to SE24 and now I'm going to create this as ZIF underscore 7 AM INT1. So now just click on create. So 7 AM batch interface. I'm just clicking on my save. I'll go ahead and save in my package as well as in my PR. Now see here. The main thing over here is, see, you won't be having your source code button. See here, do you find out your source code button? No. If I go ahead and give parameter, let's say get underscore sales. Now, when I click on display or when I double click on this, see, it won't go you to your source code. And all the methods of your interface, all the methods and attributes of your interface must be your public session by default. That's why it is even not showing your visibility. It's even not showing your visibility. It's even not showing your visibility because all my methods are all public, are all public. Okay, so this is one thing. Now in this attributes, you can go ahead and define your attributes, and here also you won't be having your visibility. Now I'm just going to create a method. So get sales order number. Get sales order number. Get sales order number. I'll just go to my parameter and I'll be saying this as IV underscore VBELN. I'm going to take this as importing parameter and VBELN underscore VA. Now in the same way, I'm also providing EV underscore VBELN exporting parameter and I'm going to take this as VBELN underscore VA. Now I'm just going to pass this as pass by value, and in the attributes I will say gv underscore vbln and level as the instance vbln underscore va. So I'm just going to give this as the instance attribute. Now I'll just go ahead and activate my interface. So I have activated. Now what I will do, I will go ahead and call this interface in my class. So /o SE24. What is the class I have created? This is the class I have created. Just click on change where I need to pass my where I need to pass my interfaces. So you have an interface tab here. Just come here and provide your interface. Now you can see here your attributes will come automatically. See the interface hyphen your VBELN, and then your method will also come up automatically, which is your public. Now in this you can go ahead and write your logic, but in this you can't able to change your parameters. So the parameters are fixed. The parameters are fixed. You can't able to change your parameters. So these parameters where you have defined in your interface. So the parameters which are needed, that you have to be defined in your interface only, but you can go ahead and come here and you can write your source code. See here the source code has been enabled. Now what I will do, I will just say EV underscore VBLN is equal to, let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I just given this as pass by value instead of optional. Let me activate this. Now I'll come here. I'll just come to SE24 again. I'll just click on change. I'll go to my. So now here I'm going to take this as EV underscore VBLN is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just providing this value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as my value. Now I'll come here and activate. So in this, you have provided your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as your value. Now I will go to my next class. So SE24, and I'll open one more class. So I'm going to take this as this class 9 a.m. class. I'll just click on change. Now in this, you can also add your interface again. See here again your attributes will show up. Again your methods will show up. But in this, what I will do, I will pass my interface EV underscore VBLN is equal to GB underscore VBLN. Where is this? Save this, go back, and I'm going to my attributes. So this is my attribute. I'll copy here. I'll come and I'll pass it over here. So that's it. Now do your pretty printer and let's just check this. No issues, and let's go ahead and activate. Let's go ahead and activate this one. So this is all. See, the same method name will be in class 1 and class 2. I have an interface with method M1. Now the same method I am going to use it in my class 1, and I've also used it in my class 2. And here I have write my own logic, and here I also written my own logic. So this is all your interface. The name of the method will be the same, but the logic inside your method will be different with different classes. So in order to achieve this we will be calling it as interface. Now the same thing what is meant by your polymorphism. The polymorphism, see, in all the classes, the method names are same, but the implementation of the method is different with one class to another class. This way, we can achieve a concept called as polymorphism. Polymorphism is a concept where the name of the method will be the same, but the implementation of the method will be different. The name of the method will be the same, and the implementation of the method will be different. That we will call it as your polymorphism. This is also one more interview question. What is meant by your polymorphism? How can you achieve your polymorphism? Polymorphism can able to achieve with the help of interface. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Any questions? Polymorphism can be achieved through interface. The polymorphism concept can be achieved through interface. So what is meant by polymorphism? The method name will be same in all the classes, but the implementation is different. The method name will be same in all the classes, but the implementation is different. So then that concept we will be calling it as the polymorphism. How can you achieve a polymorphism? The polymorphism can be achieved through your interface. So this is called as your interface. Now, the next concept we will be see, it's a concept where the same method name will behave differently in different class. Each method of the class will have its own implementation. I also written in the different way too. The next concept is called as your inheritance. What is meant by inheritance? It's a concept of passing the properties from one class to another class. Now, I can say in a beautiful realistic way. So I have a class 1. I want to pass all the properties to my class 2. That means if I say your beautiful example, this is your dad's property and dad is going to provide all your properties to you. So that you are inheriting the values of your dad's property or your dad's business. So if your father is running a business and the same business you are going to take it up. So if you have one child, so usually you will be taking up your father's business only. So now the business will come to you. The business will come to you. Now you can run the business in a same way, or you can change the mode of your business style. You can change the mode of your business style. So this is called as your inheritance. The the properties of one class, we are going to pass it to your next class. The properties of one class, we are going to pass it to your another class. The class where we are passing the properties, where we are sending the properties to your child class, this we will be calling it as your super class. The class which the properties are sending to your child class is called as the super class. The class which is receiving the properties is called as your child class or your subclass. The child class, or I can say this as your subclass. See here the same thing I have written. The child class or the subclass, or I can say this as derived class. So derived from your parent. You have been derived from your parent. Okay. So this is called as your inheritance. This is called as your inheritance. Properties of one class we are going to pass to the another class. The properties of one class we are going to pass to the another class. So this we will be calling it as your inheritance. Now, in the derived class or in the child class. So let's take in the properties of this class, I have method 1, method 2. So now when I pass this to my
That is,
child class, so I'll be getting, so one second, method 1 and method 2. Now even you will be getting your method 1 and your method 2. Now this method, go ahead, Ajay.
I mean, in the in the private properties also will come into the child class.
No, the properties of private attributes will never come. Only the public and protected attributes will come. I told you the private
Yeah,
attributes are only
okay,
for
okay.
that particular class only. If I want the private attribute to be accessed, only you can provide it as your friend class. Friend has an option to access your private attributes. No other person can able to access your private attributes. Okay, that's a very good question.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now come to this. So I have, this is my parent class or this is my super class, and this is my child class or this is my subclass. So now from the super class, we are sending the properties to my child class. Now here the method 1 and method 2 has come up. Now we can use these two methods as it is, as the same way how we have, or we can change the logic of these two methods. We can change the logic inside. We can change the logic in these methods. So that we will call it as redefinition. That we will be calling it as redefinition, redefining your method. So that's what. So what your father has started the business and it has been taken over by you. Either you can continue the same way how your father is doing, or you can enhance your business by adding some other new concepts. So now you are redefining your business structure. You are redefining your business structure. So here also I can use the same logic which is there in my methods, or I can go ahead and write my own logic. If I want to write my own logic, then we have to do the redefinition. The redefinition. So this is called as your inheritance. The class where we are passing the properties is called as a parent class. The class which we are receiving the properties is called as a child class, subclass, or derived class. In the derived class, if you need to change the logic by adding the additional features, or we can completely remove the code which is there in the child class method and we can write our own code. So that we will be calling it as your redefinition. So if I want, you can do the logic as it is, or you can go ahead and change your existing logic, or you can completely remove your logic and you can go ahead and write your own logic. So that we will be calling it as your in redefinition. That we will be calling it as your redefinition. Okay. So now, so what is meant by a super? So in the child class, the logic in the child class, so you will be having, you if I want to call the parent class methods, okay, I can say like this. If I want to call, if we want to call the parent methods in the child class, parent methods in the child class, then we will use a keyword called as super. Called as super. Super is a keyword which is used to call the parent methods in your child class. It is which is used to represent the parent class or super class. You can access the methods and attributes of the super class with the help of a keyword called as super. So you can access all your methods and attributes. In this, only the private and protected methods you can able to access, but sorry, public and protected method you can able to access, but not the private. Public and protected methods you can able to access, but not your private. Now the redefinition, as I told you, it's a keyword which is used to override the parent class method in your child class. In your parent class method to your child class. How to assign the parent class method to your child class? Let me log on here. So now I'm going to SE24. Now I'll take this class. Now let's consider this is my parent class. So now let's consider this is my parent class. Now I want to assign this parent class to my child class. So let's take this is my child class. So now I'll go to this change mode and I'll go to my properties, and here you will be having a super class pattern. So click on that super class and assign your parent class, and assign your parent class. See here, you got your parent superclass. So I'm just going to assign my superclass. Now, see here, what is the error message it is coming? Class is final. So now we are going to see a one more concept called as your final class. One more concept called as your final class. A class, when we define a class as final, we can't we, we cannot use these classes, we cannot use this class in this subclass. So that means when we assign it as final, that's it. When we assign it as final, you can't able to use in your child classes. That means your class is ended. Your class is ended. So that is how your final class is. A class, a class which we can't able to inherit. So the same thing I have written. Final class, a class which cannot be used in inheriting in other classes is called as your final class. A class which cannot be using in inheriting is called in other classes. Now when you want to inherit your child in your the superclass, this class must not be a final. So now I'll go to SE24, I'll open this class and I will remove the final. So now previously we have used, whenever I told you, whenever we are creating the class, I told you we will be having, you have to select your final. But now if you want to inherit to in your subclass, this should not be a final. Now let's go ahead and activate that one. And now come here. Come here and just say click on enter. So now go back and again click on change. I'm going to my properties and I'm going to my superclass, and now I will assign my superclass. This is another final. Maybe it's not refreshed. Now see here, it has added, you can see your methods. Okay, the interface name in both the classes are the same. Let me go ahead and remove this interface. Now I'll just go here and activate. I'll just go ahead and construct it. Now see here, now the same method has been came up. Now if I double click on this method, see method number has implemented in this class, not over here. Now if I say enter, it will go to your the parent class, the parent class. Now if I want to have my own code, just select this one and you need to click on this redefine. You need to click on this redefine. See here, and you got your method super. So see here super, and you're calling your super method. And after this, you can write your ABAP logic. After this, we can write our ABAP logic. we can write our ABAP logic. So this is called as your inheritance. Now we are inheriting the properties of say superclass into my child class. All the methods will be gets inherited. Now my question over here is, can I add two classes, two superclasses? Can I go ahead and add two superclasses in one child class? No, you can't able to add two superclasses, because see here, only you can add one superclass. You can able to add multiple superclasses? No. So multi-inheritance is not possible in SAP ABAP. So the same thing I have written over here. The multi-inheritance concept is not possible. How can we assign interview question? What is meant by inheritance? Can we use multi inheritance in one class? No. Can we call multiple classes in one class? It is also called as your multi inheritance. You are inheriting the classes. The same question. See, can we call multi inheritance? No. It is a single by single. So the inheritance will be the class one. From here, you will be going to class two. From here, you will be going to class 3. Like that, it is possible. But so class 1, like this, it's not possible. This is not possible. Only single level inheritance is possible. Single level inheritance is possible in SAP ABAP, but multi-level inheritance is not at all possible in SAP. In SAP. So what is the keyword which is used to call the parent class methods or attributes in your child class? You have to use a keyword called as your super. So what is the concept of behind the redefinition? So what is the concept? So if I want to change the properties of my method, or if I want to write my own logic in my method where we have get from the parent class, that we will be calling it as your redefinition. What is meant by your method overriding and what is meant by method overloading? So what is meant by this method overriding? So I did write this. So what is meant by method overriding, or what is meant by your method overloading, and which is possible in SAP? So see, I have written over here, method overloading. The name of the method will be the same, but the parameters will be different in different class. So can we change the parameters? If I go here to this, if I can check, can I change my parameters? No, the parameters you can't able to change. So the method overloading is not, the method overloading is not possible in SAP ABAP. In SAP ABAP, the method overloading is not possible. So the name of the method will be the same, but the parameters are going to be differ from one class to another class. That we will be calling it as the method overloading. So this is not at all possible. You can't able to change your method parameters. Then what is meant by this method overriding? So to add the extra functionalities in your child class from the parent class, method with the help of redefinition, with the help of redefinition. So this is possible in SAP. This is possible in SAP, but whether overloading is not possible. Note, in SAP, we can only use single inheritance. What is the concept? So how can we achieve method overriding? With the help of redefinition or with the help of your redefining. So this is called as your inheritance. I have given you the example. How can you use your inheritance? How can you use your inheritance? Okay, so you go ahead and practice that one. Now the next thing we are going to see, the final thing, is called as your abstract class. So we have seen about your normal classes, we have seen about your interfaces, and we have seen about your inheritance, we have seen about your polymorphism, and now we are going to see about your abstract class. What is meant by this abstract class? A class which we will have both I mean a class which is not fully implemented, which is not fully implemented. That means we can have the methods with implementation and without implementation. A class. So that means if I have a class where I can have my method 1, my method 2, my method 3, and my method 4. So this is implemented. That means we have written the logic. Here also we have written the logic, but this we haven't written any logic. We haven't. So this is only the method definition. Method definition. This is also your method definition. This is also your method definition. So this is called as your abstract class. So where few methods will be implemented and few methods we won't be implemented. So a class where you will be having the methods with implementation contains a methods with implementation and without implementations, without implementations, or a class which contains at least one abstract method, at least one abstract method. This abstract method we will never get implemented in the abstract class. We will never get implemented in your abstract class. To implement this implementation, we need to call this abstract class in the child class. This way we can achieve your inheritance. This way we can achieve your inheritance. Okay, clear with this? So in which contains at least one abstract method. Can I declare an abstract class as a final class? Can I create an abstract class as a final class?
No,
Can we not? Why?
because you can inherit these methods in subclasses and you can implement there.
Right, because we have the abstract method. So in order to write the code in the abstract method, we have to implement in your subclasses. We have to implement that in your child class or subclasses. So then only you can able to write the class. As we are going to inherit this, as we are going to inherit this, can we make the abstract class as a final? No, we can't able to make the abstract class as the final class. Okay. Now, if all the abstract methods, I think I have written the interview questions too. Let's go ahead and see that. I didn't write. Okay, I didn't write. So now I'll just go ahead and use. I'll go ahead and write this interview questions. Abstract class. Interview questions. So now what I'm going to say, uh, can I make the abstract class as a final class? The answer to that is no, because in abstract class we will contains at least one abstract method, and this method doesn't contains implementation, doesn't contains the implementation. And to do this implementation, to create an implementation, we have to do it in the child class. You have to do it in the child class. So this is called as your abstract class. So this is what your final class is. So this is what your abstract class is. So now, can I keep all the methods as an abstract methods? Can I keep all the methods as an abstract method in abstract class? Yes, you can. No issues. Now, if I keep all the methods, if I keep all the methods as abstract, we can, by layman terms, I'm just selling it as by layman terms. Layman
Then
terms,
what is the difference between interface and
I'm
abstract
coming to
class?
that only. Going to come to that only. So that's what I'm writing.
Oh,
By layman terms, we can call it as interface. By layman terms, we can call it as your interface. But now, what is the difference? So I can add the difference between the interface and the abstract class. So in the normal class, we can add, that means where we are going to, or in the child class. In the child class, we can add multiple interfaces, multiple multiple interfaces, whereas we can only add one abstract class. That's the difference. That's the difference. You can add. If I go to this, let me log on here. If I go to SE24, if I open the program and click on change, so here you have to pass your abstract class. So that is called as your inheritance. Can I pass multiple abstract classes? No, you can't. Here you have to pass your abstract class. Can you pass multiple abstract classes? No, you can't. But in the interfaces, you have an option to pass multiple interfaces. That's the difference. Clear with this? Clear? Any questions? Okay, I'll be taking it as no questions. Now, let's go ahead and see how can we create an abstract class. Abstract class. I'll just click on create. You just go ahead and say abstract class. So you have to remove the class final and just click on enter. I'll go ahead and provide my package as well as my PR. Now I'll just say get sales details. Get sales details. Now I'm going to take this as instance and I'm going to take this as public. All the abstract methods must also be in your public. Now just select this and click on the detail view. Just select this and click on the detail view and now click on this as your abstract. Implementation of the method will be get deleted. Implementation of the method will be get deleted. Now click on change this. See, now it's set to be an abstract method. Now if I just double click on this, see here, you won't be getting this one. You can't able to get this one. Now you can set your properties, what are the properties you want, but you can't able to go to your source code. Now let's click on activate. Now my class has been activated. Now I'll call this class in my child class SE24. Now I'll go here to my class. I'll just click on change. So in the properties here, I think I have assigned the interface. Very good. So I can go ahead and assign my super class and I can provide my class. I can provide my abstract class. I can just provide my abstract class. Now just say activate this one. Now see here, the method is not implemented. You will be getting an error. The method is not implemented. See the redefinition of the method. is missing in the class. So see here, if I go to this method, you have to redefine this. So I'll just go ahead and redefine this. Now I'll just say activate. Now it will be gets activated. Now if I go to my child class, so this I have a child class. So if I go to SE24 again, and if I open my child class, see click on change, you can see here, you will get your method. Just double click on this. See, it has been implemented in this class. It has been implemented in this class. See, or else you can come here and you can redefine this one. You can come here and redefine this one. So this is called as your abstract class. This is called as your abstract class. Clear with this? So now what is this from the abstract class? So where is this? We have an abstract class. So abstract class, and this abstract class we are going to call in my parent class. And from this parent class, we are going to call in my child class. Now, all the properties of this abstract and your parent class will be shown in your child class. So this is single level inheritance. Single level
Can
inheritance.
can we change the visibility to protected?
Yes, you can. But abstract method, you can't able to change the visibility. The abstract method must always be in a public. Abstract method will always be in a public, but the remaining methods you can change it into protected or public.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? So the remaining pending topics over here are, we have seen about your final class, and you will be having something called as your singleton class, the persistence class, the wide casting, and your narrow casting, and the friend class. So this we will be seeing once we have done with your oops ALV. So now coming to this oops ALV, come on. Now, coming to this oops ALV. So we will display a ALV on a UI element. We'll be displaying a ALV as an UI element, which we will be calling it as a container. We have to create a custom container. On top of this, we have to create your ALV. When you are working on your oops ALV, we have to design our screen. We have to design our screen. Now, whereas in your normal traditional ALV, like your reuse ALV grid display or your reuse ALV list display, SAP will take in the screen number. SAP will take in the screen. But when you're working on your oops ALV, you have to define your screen. Why we are saying that? It's like what you want to display and how you want to display. The advantages when going with the oops ALV is however you want to display your data, you can display that. Let's take, for example, this is my screen. I go back here. So if I go to my paint window again, so now let's consider this is my screen. Now in this screen, I want my ALV to be gets displayed over here. I want my ALV, or else I can take this as the summary data I want to display over here. The summary data I want to display over here. So, and the detailed data I want to display over here. The detailed data I want to display over here. And next, I want to display the creation data details. Who has creation data details over here. So like that, you can segregate your ALB however you want. If you want to segregate this is not possible with the help of your reuse ALB. It is not possible with the help of your reuse ALB. You have to achieve it with the help of your OOPS ALB. So in order to achieve this OOPS ALB, first of all, we have to design your screen. So what you have to design? First of all, we need to design a screen. In this screen, you have to design your container. My bad. You need to design your container. So I'm going to design my container. So how much you want? So where exactly you want to populate in the screen your ALB. So in order to do that, we require a container. So now when I go here and let me take this. So now I have designed my container. In this, you will be displaying your data. You will be displaying your data, whatever the data you want to display. So this is how you have to do it. Now on this screen, you can design n number of containers. On this screen, you can design n number of containers. Basically, majorly we will use OOPS to support the front-end applications. A front-end application. If you go to your ICICI Bank application or SBI application, once you open this, you will be getting to see your summary details. When you click on this, it will go into the detail view, or it can come in the downwards, or you can have so many options like you download the account statement, transfer your amount. So like this. So the same screen area we are going to change. The same screen area we can go ahead and change dynamically. All these things, it is possible in your OOPS ALB. That is not going to possible in your normal ALB, normal reuse ALB, or anything that is not going to be possible. So this we will be calling it as your screen. So this we will be calling it as screen, and this I will be calling it as my container. And this is my ALB, which I'm going to display the ALB. So this is what I have mentioned here. So the screen, the container, and your ALB. So in order, what are the advantages? We can have the first and the foremost event. What are the first and the foremost advantage with when you are going to with OOPS ALB is we can have n number of events. So you can define your own custom event, or you can use the standard SAP events. Whereas in your normal ALB, the events are limited. So how many number of events we do have? The maximum of 17. So if you go to reuse ALB events get, you will be seeing only 17 events. But here you can have n number of events when compared with your ALB function module, which give a flexibility to the programs to develop and ALB with various scenarios. To develop the ALB with various scenarios. And the most important thing is we can display multiple reports in one single ALB. We can display multiple reports in one single ALB or in one single screen. When we can set up the sizes of your container, which is not possible. So I want this container in this size. The next container, I want only this much of my size. I want only this much of my size. And only this much of my size. In the same way, I can also set up one more container wherever you want. See how you can design your screen. You can set up multiple containers wherever you want. That is not possible in your ALV. That is not possible in your regular ALV. We can also place the UI elements like your checkboxes, your radio buttons on the same screen. On your same screen, you can also set up your checkboxes and your radio buttons. Now, what are the different classes that are available to achieve this OOPS ALV? What are the different classes we are going to use to achieve this OOPS ALV? The first and the foremost class is CL underscore GUI underscore ALV grid. CL underscore GUI underscore ALV create. It is used to display the data in ALV container. So this is your container. On this container, it will go ahead and display the data. In order to display the data, we have to use the method set table for your first display. Set table for your first display. This method you have to use it, and you have to create, you can able to populate your data. The next one is how to create your container. To create your container, you have a class called as CL underscore GUI underscore custom container. CL underscore GUI underscore your custom container. See, it is used to create the container in the output screen. The next one is if I want to upload my logos or even my header and footer. So you have to use CL underscore DD underscore your document. CL underscore DD underscore your document. If I want to display the ALV in the form of your T structure like this. In the form of your tree structure, then you have to use CL underscore GUI underscore ALV tree sample. CL underscore ALV underscore tree sample. So I have already created this. Now, if I want to split my container, I have created a container. In that container, I want to split it. So now this container, if I go here to my paint window, now I want to split this container into variables, rows and columns. Same inside your container also you can split it. Not only in the screen level, inside your container also you can split it. In order to split your thing, we will be using something called as FCL underscore GUI underscore splitter container. CL underscore GUI underscore your splitter container. And the next one is CL underscore DUI underscore docking container. In order to dock your container, so without creating of your screen, you can dock your container. So that is what your docking container. Now, in order to upload or download your files, so what you will be using? You will be using something called as GUI upload or GUI download, right? So that is used for your either for your download or for your upload. From here onwards, you have to use this class CL underscore GUI underscore front end services. CL underscore GUI underscore your front end services is the one which you are going to use. And after all these things, we will be creating something called as a CLSALV, simplified ALV. Simplified ALV using of your classes. The advantages of over here is there are few advantages. So I'm going to tell you when we started with your simplified ALV. The main disadvantage of this OOPS ALV is we can't able to run the programs as a background job. The background job is not possible in case of your OOPS ALV. The background job processor doesn't have a capacity to create the screen in runtime. because whenever we are using the OOPS ALV, we need to design the screen. The background process doesn't have an authorization to create your screen. The background process doesn't have an authorization to go ahead and create the screen. Hence, the OOPS ALV, you can't able to run it in background. If I want to run that in a background with the help of your OOPS ALV, then we have to use your simplified ALV. Then we have to use your simplified ALV. Okay, so now in order to design, the first thing is we have to design our screen. So in order to design our screen, you will be using a keyword called as your call screen. You have to use a keyword called as your call screen. The OOPS ALV will use a technology called as module pool programming. It will use a technology called as your module pool programming. Either you can define the screen, you can create the screen from here, or you can also design your screen from your screen painter SE51. How you have going to use the screen number and everything, that we will be go ahead and see in your tomorrow's session. That's the end of today's session. So tomorrow we are going to see PBO, PAI, what is meant by this PBO, what is meant by this PAI. This is most important, guys. It is the most important. This is the most important. So PBO, PAI, and POH, and POV and POH. This is most important. Now, what are the different reports we are going to see in your OOPS ALV? We will be seeing something called as OOPS ALV with the structure, the same way reuse ALV with structure we have seen, and OOPS ALV with your field catalog, ALV with your top of the top of page, end of list and logo, and then ALV with the events, splitting of screen to display multiple ALVs, and then tree ALV, and then we are going to see your docking container. Now the same examples which I have given, you have to go ahead and convert that into your ALV. You have to go ahead and convert into your OOPS ALV. How to create that and all these things we will be going and seeing in your tomorrow's class. That's all for today. And before I signing off for today, any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Lavanya.
Sir, when we're creating a class in SC38, that is a local class, sir.
Right.
Then what is the right of using public session, private session, and protected section in that class, sir?
Okay. So can I create multiple local classes in one program?
Multiple? I didn't get.
Multiple local classes in one program. Interview question, I'm just asking you. Is it possible to create multiple local classes in one program? Okay, say yes, no, maybe, may not. I'll tell you
Yes,
the
sir.
answer. Yeah, you can create that. So now when you're inheriting the properties from one
Okay.
class to another class, and not only this, and in your local class also, see, if you have a class, you have to define the visibility of your methods. That's for sure. If you have a class,
Okay.
you have to provide the visibility. Then only the class can able to understand whether I want to showcase that. Now, from your local class also, you will be creating an object reference. So that object reference requires the attributes or methods. How can you define that? How can you define that? So that's why everywhere when you're creating a global class or local class, we have to set your visibility. We have to set your visibility. Then one more thing is inheritance concept. If you are inheriting to the child class, if I don't want the private methods to be gets accessed, so that is what.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Okay, sir. Clear, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions, Aita? Aita,
Same.
Madhuri? Okay. Okay, so that's it, guys. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time, 9 o'clock, and we'll continue our session. And for 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock batches, you don't have your ABAP on HANA session today. So I'll be taking 1.5 hour session in tomorrow's class. In tomorrow, I'm going to take 1.5 hour session, which will be offline. I'm going to share you a new link for that. You have to join to that new link. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.